Hey, all you Undead heads, welcome to our podcast. I'm Jason.
And I'm Karen.
And this is Walking Dead Cast episode 1, sort of. Episode 1. So, hey, everybody, I just want to say hello. If you have some new listeners out there, I want to say hi to you guys and just let you quickly know a little bit about kind of what we're all about. So, we're mostly about the AMC show, Walking Dead. We also like comic, both fans of comic, Karen and I. Karen's my co-host.
Hey.
And we don't give very many spoilers. And if we do, we always warn you before we do, so you can skip ahead to the next section if you want to hear the spoilers. We also like other zombie stuff. Sometimes we do zombie news.
And we like not necessarily zombies, but all other
Horror.
yes, thank you.
Horror stuff, yeah. True blood, and we talk about other zombie-related topics, stuff like that.
I also like ponies and unicorns.
But we never talk about
We never talk about them.
Moving on. And so we're really glad to have you on board if you're listening. Thanks for tuning in. So, we watched the premiere.
That's right. This is the first episode in a way, because it's the first one after the shooting.
Yeah.
So this is episode 1-ish.
Yeah, we've been going since, I think, July.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And finally,
We got to see it. How did you watch it?
well, it's funny you should say that. I actually saw it about a week ago, and it was great. And so last night was big. Yesterday was a big day. Let me tell you a little bit about. yesterday was Halloween. Hey, happy post Halloween, everybody. And yesterday was a big day. So it's Halloween, and also there's something else going on there. And Jason and I do this from the San Francisco area, and our baseball team is in the World Series. And my fiance David, he's very dialed in and very involved with that, directly involved with that. And so last night they played, and they beat the Texas Rangers. Hey, if anyone's a Texas Rangers fan out there, sorry, we love you. We might keep listening, but it was a big night for us. So yeah, it was huge, and it was the premiere of The Walking Dead. So it was all those things and a big night at our house.
Did you guys just watch it alone together?
We didn't even know. I have to confess, it's so sad. Why did you make me do this? I fell asleep.
You watched it again?
I did.
You saw it again?
Yeah,
Okay. So I went to this party, and actually a friend of mine who she invited me to this Walking Dead watching party, and I went there and I met a lot of people who I hadn't met before, and they were all really into it. A few of them were actually fans of the comic, which is awesome. I never met. I don't know if I've ever even met anyone who's read it before. You know?
Yeah.
So they were really into it. They were watching to see how it would be different from the comic or not, and they loved it.
That's awesome.
Because I had seen it before a week ago too, and so I was kind of watching to see
Their reactions
what
are?
their
Yeah, they were pretty positive?
Totally positive. Yeah,
That's
everybody loved it.
Yeah.
A couple of them who were big fans of the comic were like, they told me afterwards that at first they were kind of going, hey, that's not the same, hey, that's not the same, but then they kind of got into it and liked the differences. You know,
Yeah.
so you know, everybody said all along he's gonna be off a little bit sometimes, but
Yeah, he did. Yeah, David saw after World Series ended, he saw about half an hour of it, he had DVR'd it, and so he saw half an hour of it, and he's gonna watch the rest later today.
Oh, he hasn't even seen the whole thing.
No, he hasn't seen the whole thing. No, like I said, it's all about the giant.
Yeah.
And,
Well, he works at ESPN.
he works at Comcast Sportsnet area, and and they're actually planning. I can probably say this, but they have to start working with the city to plan for the eventuality of Media Parade. And so so knock wood, and who knows what'll happen, but that's kind of what they're going full bore right now. And but he saw half an hour of it and really liked it also.
Cool. So you fell asleep and then you just turned it off.
Yeah, pretty much.
You loved it. Okay, so today, on today's show we're gonna do our Deadcast top 5 for the next 6 weeks. Deadcast top 5 is just gonna be our top 5 highlights about the show, and then I'm sure we'll just kind of a general discussion about what we thought. We'll have some news about the show, not much today, but just a little bit. We'll get into some listener feedback, and we're doing a new section called Comic Talk where we talk a little bit about how the show is different and similar to the comic book. We might get into some spoilers in that section. I don't know. I don't think so though. But
Yeah,
anyway,
if we can help it, we won't.
Yeah, and if we do, then maybe I'll go back and just add something saying we did. So if you don't want to hear it, skip ahead. Then we'll just have a little bit on what's coming up next week on Walking Dead.
Agreed.
So let's get into our Deadcast top 5.
All right.
You want to just go through our top 5 like we always do, one by one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I do.
go ahead,
I
you
do.
go
All right. Top 5 things that I like about the episode, and I'm gonna, you know what? My number 5, which actually here's the one that's in fact number 5, happens to be the one that happens pretty early on. And these aren't chronological; they just happen. This one happens to be number 5. But the opening scene, I love the little girl zombie. I loved it. I loved how they built up to that, and how they start showing him walking around, and all of a sudden you see this cute little girl, and she turns around, and she's a cute little zombie girl, which I love.
Did you knew right away that she was gonna be a zombie?
Yeah, well, we had seen. Remember we talked about it.
Yeah.
I think that's the one we talked about. She was like a second zombie movie,
Yeah,
like a zombie
she's
pro.
like 2 years old.
And she got the makeup, and yeah, she's like cute.
It probably wasn't actually her, but there was a good zombie sound coming out of her.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of scared at her for a little while. It was like Old West kind of thing. Showdown.
Awesome.
The blood. This is my top 5, but the blood with the gunshots is different than I've seen before. I think it's computer generated. It's like splatters all over.
Yeah. And the side shots when he shoots, like he shot his old coworker who's now zombie, and they show a side shot, and he shot right here, and you can see all
splatter off. Yeah, somebody when I was watching last night is like, there's gonna be blowbackers sticking. Go right to his eye or something. Watch out.
Yeah,
So I got 5 things here. I guess they're in this order. I don't know, but it's hard to pick what I like the best. But anyway, I'll start off with the music, which I thought was really great.
Yeah.
The music is done by Bear McCreary, who did the music for Battlestar Galactica. I loved his score for Battlestar Galactica, but I was a little bit concerned because that's a space opera, you know, and this is a moody zombie pick.
Yeah.
But I thought he adapted his style really well. And what I really liked is that the music was kind of this is a depressing book kind of, this Walking Dead, and you gotta like make it fun somehow, and or make it not too bogged and heavy.
Right.
And the music was really peaceful and ethereal and everything.
Yeah.
And I thought he did a good job of counterbalancing the subject matter.
Right.
And in fact, one scene that really struck me is when he was sitting on a step, Rick, and he looked over and he saw a guy, which was zombie, we all know, but he didn't, walking in, and the guy kind of turned at a 90-degree angle and stumbled a little bit and started walking towards Rick and raised his hand to wave to him. And that's right when Dwayne came up behind him and whacked him with a shovel.
Right.
So here's the music in that part. Here, I'm gonna play it. So he's just sort of sitting here right now, kind of in a daze, and he looks over and sees that guy. And he looks like the zombie, but it's all peaceful.
Right. He's like,
Little
hey,
undertone of, yeah.
He's also That's perfect. Yeah, we were talking this morning about how it is a really bleak story. It's really dark.
Yeah.
We were concerned that we're thinking, well, if they keep it that dark the whole series, it's gonna be tough to maintain a big fan base. I hope that they do things to lighten it a little bit and to lighten the mood and to mix it up a little.
Well, that's one of my later things. So go ahead and do your, go ahead and do your
Okay, the next one. I love. I've heard it referred to different ways. Some people call her bike girl zombie, but it's when he's riding his bike back from the hospital and he finds the crawling half lady zombie. I love her.
Yeah.
I loved her. I was so happy that she's in the book, in the comic. She's you can barely tell the she, and she's really pretty gone. And so I'm thinking, how are they gonna do that? And they did it beautifully. They did it great. I mean, she's awesome.
That girl, the Talking Dead guys interviewed her, and she's this girl from Atlanta, and she's trying to be an actress, and she's started to get a lot of acting jobs and stuff. She's like, oh yeah, I can't do a southern accent, but she's this cute little southern girl, and she has a cute accent. She's like, I love you, zombie.
Why did they get rid of her lower half?
Computers.
Yeah, blue screen.
Yeah, that's what they did. Yeah, it was computer, but she's really skinny, I think, so that helps. I mean, not the lower half thing, but
That's
with the
yeah.
Okay,
What's yours?
let's see. My number 4 is I liked how they did Dwayne and Morgan.
Yeah.
It seems like in the comic they didn't really develop them that much,
Right.
And so they fleshed them out. And I liked actors. I liked how they played parts. And I liked how they added in the mom, the zombie mom.
That's my next one, in fact,
Just
yeah.
all that. I really liked that whole edition. It worked really well. I thought.
That's one of those points where Daryl veers off and adds, Brendan fleshes it out. And I love the whole deal with Dwayne's mom. And Morgan has his beautiful wife. There's a picture of her. She's gorgeous.
She looked a little different in the picture.
Yeah, I think a zombie does not help your skin tone. Doesn't help anything. Hair. So he hangs up the picture, and I didn't know what he's doing. Like, what is he doing getting the picture? And then he puts a chair there. I'm like, what the? And then it's like, oh, he's steadying his shotgun. Oh, this is not going to be good. Yeah. That was mine.
I was gonna say something about her. I forget what it was. Okay, I'll move on. Number 3, I just liked the pacing. I'm happy that they took their time with the moments. It's slow, like in the first scene that you mentioned, he's walking around it was a camp, right? Before he sees a little girl, he's looking for gas.
Yeah,
walking
yeah,
around cars, and
right.
it's just the camera's going around, and they really take their time to let the ambiance build.
Right.
And when he goes to finish off the bicycle girl, he takes time to, you can tell he feels bad for her. He says, "I'm sorry this happened to you." You know, he just doesn't run up and shoot her.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree.
The part where Morgan is trying to kill his wife, like you said, he very deliberately puts the picture up there and just gives you time to take it all in. I like that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It did have a very nice pace, and when he's in going to Atlanta on horse,
Yes,
and
that too, yeah.
across the bridge, it's nice.
And it feels like a ghost town at first, and he's kind of just checking out the scene, and you see that the zombies in the bus start to wake up.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
they walk out, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, we can get around them. It's just a few of them." I love that because that's classic zombie, shambling, rambling.
One thing I loved Atlanta. I loved it. I loved they showed at one point they showed crows picking apart a nid. Yeah, the crows were there and they took their time with Atlanta, and I liked that a lot.
You said you were there as a kid. Do you remember it specifically at all?
No, not at all. That was grandparents' visit.
I was thinking about how, because in interviews they all said how hot it was,
Yeah.
like they could barely stand it.
Yeah.
But if you didn't know that, you wouldn't even notice.
Never
They weren't like sweating profusely or anything that I noticed.
Right. Oh, God, it'd be awful looking at all that makeup and to have it be crazy hot.
Yep.
But I would, you know what? I'd suck it up if I
Oh,
was
yeah.
if I'd be a zombie in Atlanta in the summertime. Yeah,
There's a
just
zombie there somewhere. My wife's a zombie. I don't care. Give me no lip no more. Keep her in the backyard. No, okay, my number 2 is the tone. See, now I thought the tone, I loved how it's grave and serious. Like, it's not campy, I don't think. There's not much camp going on, and I love camp, but I think it's great that there's no camp here because there's so much zombie stuff. So I think I've said this before, but this is going to be the thing that people hold up as the flagship zombie thing.
Yeah.
But I thought that it wasn't bogged down or overly depressing. I mean, it was definitely sad, but I didn't feel like I do. Like at the end of Dawn of the Dead, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And probably the one way that I think they're really aware of this because in the tank when they had what I assume is Glenn say, "Hey, dumbass,"
Yeah,
goes in there,
exactly.
and puppy music playing.
Right.
They're trying to make sure that you don't leave, that it doesn't end and you feel like you just want to go cry.
Right. I mean, and that's funny. That's my number 1, which is the ending, and I love the change that took place because the tank's not in there like that.
You just see it over the side.
Right. Exactly. I loved it. I love that he gets in there. There's a zombie waiting for him. Oh,
And they'll ring in the ears, little details like that.
Right. Exactly. Which is exactly how it would have been. You shoot something, you gun a tank, it's gonna be incredibly loud and it's gonna screw you up. And then Glenn, he's got the gun, and you think, wow, he's really there's zombies swarming all over. Oh, like ants like candy. And you're thinking, he's got a gun. And he's just this would be the point where he said, "I give up. Yeah, clearly, and then it's completely taken over. My kid, my son, he must be dead." And at the very last second, you hear presumably Glenn's voice. By the way, and maybe I'll say this for the next section for our it was changed.
Oh yeah, Comic Con,
Okay.
But what do you think? I think Glenn's gonna create a distraction and then get him out.
Glenn's got it all going
Figure
on.
that out.
Yeah, he got it all figured out.
My number 1 is it's my favorite moment in the movie was when they were in the house that Morgan and Dwayne were swatting in, and Rick at night and Rick peeked through the curtains and saw all the zombies walking around. That's awesome. And I couldn't help but think, if those zombies knew that they were in there, this would be Night of the Living Dead. They'd all be attacking the house.
Right. Morgan had it figured out. You just cover up the windows. You're trying not to make much noise.
A couple other notes I made. I thought the zombies looked awesome, and the zombies will pay off. They all acted really well. They were nice and slow.
Good shambling.
And
It's fine looking.
I thought the acting was pretty good. What do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When I did that ratcheting down last time, do you think I didn't like it?
Yes.
I loved it. There were a couple things I didn't love, but they're really small. At first, I was bugged by the dialogue with Shane Rick in the cop car in the beginning, where Shane was being a chauvinist or whatever.
Yeah.
And not because I thought he was a jerk. It just seemed a little like, I don't know, stilted or something. I don't know.
I didn't find Stilted so much as I found Shane not really likable.
Yeah, and that's good because that's what they wanted.
Yeah. And according to Rick, he and Lori had some big fight, and
Right.
yeah,
She didn't like him anymore.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not good. So they definitely sort of built up what was going to go down between Rick and Lori later. Or foreshadowed.
Yeah. And then I think might be a little touchy, but I like Darabont, but I think his movies can be a bit self-important and over-emotional. Like Green Mile, I don't think you saw that, but I saw it recently, and it's good, but it just feels like it thinks it's better than it is.
Yeah.
More important. And I was afraid that he might be Walking Dead that way, but I did feel that a little bit. I think it fits because it's the apocalypse, so heavy emotion is called for here,
Right.
and it works. And when I first saw Rick break down crying in his house, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I would curl up in a fetal position too, with my wife and kid.
Yeah,
on,
and the world was ending.
Yeah. One thing that I really liked also, didn't make my list, but I really liked it. I like the early scenes in the hospital.
Yes.
Rick shambles around like he's a zombie. He's barefoot. They sort of show him. They show the close up of him, of his feet, and he's barefoot. He's slow. He's lurching. He's like a zombie. Yeah, that whole early scene. He's totally like later on.
Yeah. His muscles are all atrophied.
Exactly. One thing that I thought was that I didn't like as much. I like the actress just fine who plays Lori, which is not what I imagined in the comic. I imagined that she doesn't look like I imagined. In the comic, I thought she looked like she was Native American.
Yeah. I think she looks more like that when Tony Moore draws her, and the other she switches over to being a little bit more
Right.
just-
European.
Yeah.
She has a classic profile. Her nose in the Tony Moore book. So that's kind of her in my mind.
Yes, I think Shane and her are a little too pretty.
Yeah.
But I hope that's not too distracting. I mean, at least they're she looked unkempt, and I don't think she was all made up or anything, so that was good.
Right. Exactly.
But they're pretty pretty.
Right.
Okay, I think that's pretty good.
But more show talk to come. Because we have our whole comic versus show.
Oh yeah,
So there will be more show talk.
But let's move on to some news about the show. I like I said last time, I just don't feel like reading every interview and reporting on all that stuff. If you're interested, Google Walking Dead. There's tons of interviews where it talks about how anything about how much experience he's had and all this stuff. It's really interesting. But I just kind of for the 6 weeks want to pick the stuff that really strikes my fancy and that stick to the core of it. So, I'm a fancy kind of guy. So what I was interested in is just that there's a lot of positive reviews coming out, and there was a good summary on the AMC blog, so I'll read from that. The Wall Street Journal calls The Walking Dead's first episode quote so good that it has hooked even a zombie hater like me. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Hollywood Reporter says of The Walking Dead, quote, if you watch the 4-minute trailer, you have an accurate sense of how well executed this drama is. Fans of the genre are going to love it. The Wrap believes The Walking Dead will change the horror genre forever. Quote, the show feels weightier and more real than anything before it. I thought that was interesting. They gravitated towards how like I was saying about the tone,
Yeah.
Media biz bloggers lauds the integrity of The Walking Dead's artistic vision and the uncompromised quality of its storytelling, which is awesome. I'm really glad the show turned out to be good since we devoted so much time to it. And Jenny Hill, like, really happy too. She elbowed me in the middle of it. It's good. Because she knows everything else.
We're not going to have to switch to Ultra Blood.
Yeah, exactly. Cable Facts likes The Walking Dead premiere. Quote, plus is Britt Andrew Lincoln as the sheriff. Good too is social commentary with class racism and marital infidelity. I don't know if I call that social commentary. Was there something about racism?
Zombieism.
Anyway, Hollywood Reporter recommends AMC over Sci-Fi on Halloween night. Quote, if you're a Sci-Fi fan and watching that network instead of The Walking Dead on AMC, we're going to have words.
Oh, that's excellent.
So we're going to take a little break and we'll come back with some listener feedback and some comic talk and some next week on Walking Dead. So we'll be back in a few.
Even.
Hey, everybody, we're back. It's time for some comic talk. So So if you haven't read the comic, there are going to be some spoilers because we're going to be talking about how it's different from things that happen in comics. Some of those things might still happen in the show. So if you haven't read the comic and you don't want to hear any spoilers, don't just skip to the next section where you do our listener feedback and stuff like that. I mean, the spoilers are going to be pretty light, but there are some.
And, yeah. Well said.
So it looks like the show covers about 1.5 issues of the comic because at the end of issue 2, Rick makes it to the camp. I think it's at the end of issue 2, and he meets Laurie, and we get to that part. We're just right before he meets Glenn, which is like halfway through issue 2.
Right. And by the way, maybe he never gets back to camp. Maybe takes a dramatic turn from the comic.
I think he's going to shoot himself at the beginning of the next show.
He gets called dumbass at the end of the episode. He gets called dumbass. Like, that's it. I'm shooting myself.
I feel myself is already low.
and the thing that no, I mean clearly this eventually finding out. But the weird thing is, I was thinking that's like almost a third of the way through these comics that are going to make up the first season, and it was only the first episode. So how are they going to fill the time for the next 5 episodes?
Well, we don't know what the first season's going to be. I mean, there are I think there's 78 issues of the comic.
I guess it was just you and me assuming it would be the first 6 issues.
I think it was just you.
Oh my god!
Did I say that? I don't think so. I said I thought it might, but I'm not sure. You know, you don't know. Yeah, play the tape. Who's got access to those audio files? Oh, I guess we all do. So there are a lot of similarities in the comic. Just like in the comic, Rick gets shot. There's a zombie apocalypse. While he's in the hospital, Shane along with Rick's family camp outside of town, hoping that things will clear out and get better in the army rescue or whatever. Rick meets Tony Morgan, and Rick goes to Atlanta on a horse and gets ambushed. So the basic structure's there.
Yes, and I think so. I think you're absolutely right. And I think that the TV show cleared up a couple of little things for me, which was kind of nice. And correct me if I'm wrong, but here's what I think I saw in the show. One of the things that we always, David and I kind of had issue with was the fact that out of all the people to find, he met up with Glenn and seemingly randomly. And it turns out Glenn took back to his wife and kid outside of town, and that seems like it was sort of a miracle that happened in the comic.
Yeah.
Not saying it couldn't happen, it just seems incredibly. Yeah, but they kind of explain it a little bit in the TV show where he's in the police cruiser on his way to Atlanta before the police cruiser, I guess he's on the radio saying, anyone hear me?
Yes.
And then they're monitoring that back at camp, and they hear his voice, and they're like, hey, somebody alive out there, and we're getting a signal, and it looks like he's going to Atlanta.
Right.
You know, we
and
should.
Laurie thinks about going to Atlanta to try to warn people. They're already considering going to Atlanta.
Right, exactly.
Warn people, so which would include this guy on the radio.
Right.
So probably Glenn decides to be the one to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's a bit more plausible. I mean, still, his wife happens to be one of the people that survived.
Right.
So it doesn't totally redeem it, but
Right.
yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, and it makes sense because Shane's also a cop. Shane's in the camp. Shane may have taken his radio, maybe Shane's radio they're using.
Right.
Shane's cops, and
Yeah,
so cops
they're
are,
on signals.
yeah, they're sort of trained to use a radio a lot, so it's a little more explainable.
Yep.
But it's like that.
Yeah, me too. That's cool. I noticed that they kept some like just almost exactly the way they appear on the page. Some impactful things like Bicycle Girl.
Yes,
Rick
yeah.
seeing her and being horrified early on and coming back with her out later on.
Yeah.
That was almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Dwayne hitting Rick with a shovel.
Right.
Like there's a whole panel that's just you just see a shovel.
Right.
Here it is. Right
Awesome
here.
expression on his face.
That was pretty similar. And Rick riding down on a horse. That
Yeah.
iconic image there.
Right.
Even the horse I noticed in the comic took off at gallop. It did on the show too.
Yeah, he doesn't talk to the horse like he does in the comic.
He does a bit.
Does he?
Yeah, when he first comes up to the horse, he's like, "I'm not gonna hurt you. It's more like a proposal." This horse is in Atlanta.
Right, that's right.
But I don't think I recognized one line of dialogue that was the same as in the comic.
Yeah, I agree.
So obviously the thing that Darabont liked about Kirkman's writing wasn't his dialogue. Hi, Robert. It's Robert Kirkman wrote episode 4, so it'll be interesting to see. Maybe it's just TV dialogue is different than comic dialogue.
Must be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Also, was there a helicopter in the comic?
I don't know.
There sure was on the TV show.
Oh yeah, I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, I looked. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
you
the helicopter completely different. Yeah, I don't know if that's. Remember it was when he was in Atlanta, and all of a sudden there's a helicopter. I mean,
There's one early on too when he first comes out of the hospital and he's walking up the hill and he goes over the hill and there's just the first thing he sees is a helicopter
on the ground.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
helicopter in the air. Yeah, I think they were. I mean, maybe in the military.
That's true. Yeah, that's what gets him going like recklessly further into the scene.
Right. Give him a little hope about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the reason why they're doing stuff like that you're bringing up is to make it more plausible.
Right.
And Kirkman has said in interviews like a couple of things that Darabont added. He like slapped himself on the forehead. Oh, I should put that. I bet those are
Right.
like that. Helicopter's one of them, and the radio thing is probably another one.
And as we mentioned before, I liked how they added the tank and like they sort of made the tank not just a tank swarmed with zombies, but him getting into the tank. I like that too.
That was just I think it wasn't like because there was something in the plot. It was just cool.
Yeah, it was just cool.
Dramatic and everything.
Exactly. The police station seemed slightly different because I liked in the TV show that they got to take hot showers.
Yeah, that was what was great about that is all these people that were hanging out with last night. They were all burners.
Yeah.
And all that was like get back and burn and all laughed because they showered for a week.
Working out there when you're all grimy and you finally get that first hot shower. Oh, it's really
Yeah,
nice.
you can totally identify
Yeah,
that.
super cute.
Let's see. Another difference that we already mentioned was how the story with Morgan Dwayne was more fleshed out and Morgan's zombie wife, which I thought was a good addition.
Oh yeah, loved that. I love that he couldn't bring himself to end her. I mean, he just he loves her so much, and there she is in zombie form, and he just can't do it.
But yeah, again, I think that might help explain why he stayed back too, because he's trying to bring himself to do that and he can't, so it keeps him there.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Right. And he even said, for a while we were moving, and after my wife became one walker,
Yeah,
he just got
hunkered
stuck.
down. Yeah, and he's totally stuck there. And he tells Rick, well, I want to get some more target practice in before we take off. And that doesn't really make sense until you realize that he's basically saying he wants to finish off his wife.
Right.
And I love it because I love in movies when you kind of have to figure things out and you have to say over the head.
Exactly.
That's good.
Exactly. I like it too. I also like that they mentioned they talked about Morgan talked about Atlanta and said where does it say that? Oh yeah, Morgan mentions at one point broadcast stopped. He said around that time the broadcast stopped too, and he just mentions it in passing. It's not in the comic, but he mentions it in the TV show. Blah blah blah. Around the time the broadcast stopped. And it's like, yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a big annoyance of mine when I see like The Mist, when I see they're surrounded by radios, and although you told me I was wrong about that, that's the first thing I would do, like get on the radio, get on the radio.
Yeah, they're covering their bases, so they're trying.
Yes, they absolutely are. And also Morgan mentions, yeah, well, you have a shot in Atlanta because that's what the CDC is. That's what these people.
Yeah, Jenny's a pathologist, so she's like, yeah, that's right. She like that.
Also, did you notice? Remember when you were at Comic-Con and you saw the set, and the set was
that was the same thing.
It was. That was it.
With the family, like the suicide family.
God forgive us.
Yeah, they were replicating that. Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's going on.
What else was different? He didn't open up the door in the hospital and see a bunch of zombies like he did in the comic.
He did not.
I think that's probably because it's just better dramatically not to show it all right in the beginning. But it also is cool how if you read the comic, it kind of plays with your expectations.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, he's gonna do this.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. I'm grateful for that. I like the moments that were the surprises. I really
I think this would be. I think it would be cooler if we hadn't read the comic.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
First time,
I mean, that's
why you stopped.
yeah.
It's not too late though because it's going to take years to get to issue 30 or wherever you
I don't
stopped.
know, this case, it might not.
Yeah.
I mean, they
an issue, an episode and a half per issue.
They might be just charging right through it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would actually. I'd be super happy to be surprised. And eventually when the show ends, if the show ends, I'd go back and read the comic. Or read it as we're getting them.
Yep. Anything else you want to say about the comics?
That's about all I had to. I think we're good.
Okay. Let's move on then to our listener moans, groans, and grunts. So we had so we didn't get any calls or emails right after the show. I really want you guys to stay up late and call us with your thoughts or early in the morning or shoot us some emails. But if you need some time to think about it and you just don't think of anything until a little bit later, feel free to write a call in and we'll just play it next week.
Absolutely.
But we already did have a couple of emails and one call. So want to read the first one?
Yeah, this comes from Mike, and this was such an awesome email. So Jason Karen, I'm writing from Camp Bond Steel here in Kosovo, and was just recently introduced to Robert Kirkman's graphic novel Walking Dead by a friend that I worked with over here about a week ago. I'd never heard of it, but he loaned me the first 2 volumes, and I instantly fell in love with it the first night. As I, no pun intended, devoured every page of books in a few hours. I've always been a fan of anything zombie and find the story to be a breath of fresh air along the same lines as the 2004 Dawn of the Dead and Shaun of the Dead, where the story revolves more around how humanity deals with this different type of crisis, and we get to see the true nature of certain individuals. And by the way, comment right here, it's interesting that that's what he says, given that he's on military base in Kosovo.
Yeah,
that's great.
His zombie stories are about what happens when you're in pressure situations.
Exactly. He says, I was told the upcoming AMC television show for Walking Dead premiering this month I died and went to zombie heaven or is it hell? Unfortunately, I will not be able to see it when it premieres as we do not get the channels over here besides the Armed Forces Network provides. I can't believe I'm that. I will, however, look forward to be streamed via different websites as most assuredly will be. Also,
If you're listening, Mike, I don't know if you have access to iTunes, but I know it's up on iTunes now. So
Literally?
yeah,
That's great.
I already downloaded it.
Also, in certain I recently came across your podcast on iTunes the last week or so and have subscribed to it. I listened to each podcast and really enjoyed listening to you and Karen keeping informed and entertaining along the nights on mission. I love the talk that ranges from zombie games, books, television shows, and movies. Not to mention the wacky subjects of mistakes and every make around zombies or the different weapons used against zombies. I laugh my ass and I write that off. Many thanks keeping you guys, listening to you guys as well as the guests you have on the show. Thank you for a great podcast and keep up the great work. I hope to hear many more great podcasts and look forward to reviews on the upcoming series. Best of luck to you both, Mike. Awesome.
I was really honored to get that letter. And everyone said that when we were making those words. I really felt it was great.
Me too.
Thank you so much, Mike. And it just trips me out to think of you out there in Kosovo listening to us while you're on mission.
I know, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. I hope you right again.
And stay well, my brother.
Yep. Yeah, thank you, of course, for everything you do for us. Okay, let's move on. Vicky, who was a guest on the show a couple of episodes ago, sent in some haikus for us. On Halloween Eve, as darkness falls, mankind seeks refuge from zombies.
Excellent.
That's
That's good, man.
Here you go for the next one.
The Walking Dead approach on Autumn Eve to eat brains of the living. That's good.
It seems like it's kind of nice until that last segment.
Oh,
It's so special. The leaves are falling and the brains are being eaten. Anticipation builds as we hungrily watch the first Walking Dead.
Nicely done, Vicky.
And she says, on another note, episode 9, you mentioned the fact that zombies don't like or pay much attention to dogs. Here's my theory regarding that info. People in general seem to like zombies and set the fact that they eat human brains. That seems okay. But for some reason, when animals get killed, we truly hate the ones doing the killing. In order for us to keep liking zombies, they can never kill helpless horses and animals. Anyway, just a thought. Hope you like haikus. So how do you like them now?
Evidently, The Walking Dead do eat animals.
At the party, people were like, when they surrounded Rick and the horse, people were like, don't cry, everyone goes, don't you hurt that horse. And then when they did start biting the horse, the other women were like, no.
Horsey.
But they also want to watch the shows.
I have one haiku also sent in by David.
Awesome.
As I said, Giants in the World Series, and so we're a little obsessed with how right now. So this one's from David for the Giants. It goes, Giants win it all. The zombie apocalypse must surely follow.
Oh, I hope they lose then. Just kidding. 3-1. I'm stoked too. I watched most of the game last night. Pretty good. Okay, we got one call. It's from Jamie, and here it goes. He's listening, obviously.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, that was a good one. So I had an idea. I made a little on my iPad here. I made a little zombie piano.
A zombie piano? What is that? It's a keyboard, and keyboard is all zombie sounds.
It's all from our listeners too. And yeah, so I put the yak-like sounds here. Robert, if you're listening, you know you like these sounds and you want to come on our show.
You just need to make a little tune. Yes, I do.
You have to hold it down, hold the key down here. Oh, yeah, listen to this.
Oh, that's awesome. We want to be zombies. We want to be
Must be a zombie beat.
Right.
Okay,
Keyboard's awesome.
so next up, maybe I should make that available somehow. See
We
if
need to take a picture of it and put it on the website. People should see it is a keyboard. It's a piano. It's a piano. Oh, he's just playing it. Oh my god, so
Okay, so you just figured out. Let's go on to next week on Walking Dead. Take this away.
all right.
So next week, episode 2, which is entitled Guts. If you read the comic, you probably can guess that means. Oh yeah, by the way, if you don't want to hear a synopsis of next week, what's happening next week, then you should just skip on to the ending segment here. So do that now. So here's the synopsis from the AMC website. It says, Rick unknowingly causes a group of survivors to be trapped by walkers. The group dynamic evolves from accusations of violence as Rick must confront an enemy far more dangerous than the undead. So that sounds really unfamiliar to me. Doesn't it?
An enemy far more dangerous than the undead.
Is it Glenn?
Shane, man, Shane.
Well, let me read the cast list for the next episode. Annabelle, who's Amy, John Bernthal, Shane, Jeffrey Lonsdale, Lori Holdings, Andrea, which I'm excited about. She wasn't in the first episode.
Right.
She's my favorite. Andrew Lincoln, who's Rick, Chandler Riggs, who's Carl. And then we have, they're also a bunch of zombies, but I didn't want to just read off names. They zombie. Yeah. Adam Mirovich, who's Ed, Juan Gabriel Pareja, who's Morales, and Gerald Prescott, who's Jackie. Now these three are all, from what I remember, names that aren't in the comic.
Right.
So maybe they are the enemy.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And maybe one of them might die. The reason why I think that is because one thing we didn't see in this first episode, I don't think we saw a zombie killing one.
No,
Right?
we did not.
No, we didn't see that.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting a horse.
That's right, but that doesn't matter. No, I'm just kidding. No zombies killing humans. We didn't see any zombie bite anybody on the net or anything like that. So that's crucial. We have to have that next time. It's gonna be satisfied. So
Yeah.
so that's about it for next week.
Okay.
So we'll see that. I'm really excited. I'm excited to see Glenn and his interaction with Rick and Andrea and all that. So can't wait. But this time I'm not going to watch it ahead of time. I'm just going to wait and watch it on the night of.
And one thing we noticed is that it looks like it comes on two different times. It is here on the West Coast. It comes on at 10 o'clock on the regular standard definition channel AMC, and on high definition channel AMC, it comes on 7 o'clock, so it's East Coast feed. Which for people such as myself who get up early, it's nice to have it.
Yeah, totally. And it's in HD.
Right, exactly.
That's good. Okay, yeah, so watch it at 7 on HD. If you want. I mean, in fact, this my friend has. It looked like people were sort of talking about maybe making a weekly thing to watch together, you know. And I think they might try to do that at 7
Yes,
to 10.
on Sunday. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
ready to close it out?
I think so.
Okay, that's our show. That's our first show after the show. Yay. Thanks to Karen for coming and doing this, and thanks to everybody for listening. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, listeners.
Yeah, and remember, call in and let us know what you think of the show. We'd love to have some calls play and just get a different perspective on it. Do you want to talk about that a little bit there?
Oh, yeah. David got me a little book that I highly recommend. It's a love story called 10 Little Zombies, and by Andy Rash, and Chronicle Books publishes it, and it's the best little book in the whole world. It's a little book, and it's a nice love story. It's a love story, so I can't recommend the sign up. Yeah.
Andy Rash.
Andy Rash, yeah. Chronicle Books.
4 little zombies coming after me. Fired at the chainsaw. Now there are 3. That's awesome.
You need to read this again.
Okay.
It's really,
You want
really
to?
sweet.
I'll go. Thank you. Okay, so how can people get hold of us?
You can email us at brains@walkingdeadcast.com. No, the beginning, so it's just brains@walkingdeadcast.com.
Call us at 650-485-DEAD. That's 650-485-3323.
You can check out our website and leave comments at walkingdeadcast.com.
Or you can go to twitter.com/JasonKaren for Twitter feed, or find us on Facebook by searching for Walking Dead Cast.
Okay.
All right, that's our show.
Thanks for listening. Don't get bit.
One thing I do know. Don't you get bit.
It's hard to remember now, but the internet used to be fun.
I can't believe how easy it is to surf the net. Surf's up.
On Launch Shadow, Breaking the Internet, we'll trace how a tool that once fueled democracy
Opposition activist organized march on Facebook.
became a weapon aimed at the very heart of it.
You're watching the unraveling of our democracy right now.
From Longlead and PRS, this is Launch Shadow, Breaking the Internet. Subscribe now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Rick Beck. And I'm Royce Yakov. Welcome to our Track Talking podcast from Harvard Business School. Think big, buy small. This series lets you in on a special way to become an entrepreneur. How to buy your own business, be your own boss, and get the financial benefits of your efforts. Entrepreneurship through acquisition involves searching for an existing, enduringly profitable, smaller business and buying it, usually from a retiring founder.
Back for a brand new season, our conversations with guests from all backgrounds and different stages of the entrepreneurship through acquisition journey. From those considering whether this path is right for them, all the way through to those who have sold businesses they bought as searchers and ran as CEOs. Thousands of smaller firms are sold every year, and many people have successfully acquired an existing business that is enduringly profitable. So why not you too? We've been helping students understand this less travel path to personal and professional independence in our courses at the Harvard Business School.